I'm Rob.
And I'm Louie.
And this is the BeswinVR
Scar X
full haptic VR gun controller review.
Let's go.
A lot to unpack on this haptic gun review,
Yes.
Louie. Let's talk about features.
A removable lithium-ion battery. It has a haptics that works in single fire or full auto.
Which is selectable by a button on the front of the gun.
Yes.
It doesn't affect your gameplay itself. It only affects how it responds to your shoulder.
Yep. It has a Picatinny rail that you can mount your Vive tracker on. Vive tracker 2, I believe, is the only one that works.
You got it.
It has a button that works for teleporting.
Which looks like a joystick, but
Yes.
it is not a well, it is a joystick, but apparently based on some bug of whatever that they couldn't squash, the only part that actually works on that joystick is by pressing it down.
Just depressing it for your teleportation.
Which will do exactly the same thing as pressing the center button on a Vive controller.
Now the other thing that you wouldn't expect it to do is this acts like the grip on the Vive controller.
So if you squeeze the Vive controller, it has the exact same features.
So you could bind it to maybe a reload or whatever you need it to be in your game. It has a grenade launching trigger on the front and your fire select, as well as for times where the haptics are possibly affecting your aim, is you can shut the haptics right off.
Now this thing retails for $549 US.
But it does occasionally go on sale.
In fact, while we're recording this, it's 20% off. And originally it was a higher price, but you also have to keep in mind that it does not come with a Vive tracker. So you're putting another $100 US on top of that, roughly, right?
Yeah.
Plus, you also have to pay for shipping. And the shipping on this is $100 US. So now we're at $749 US for this device. Obviously, they're either gearing this towards VR arcade owners, or they're looking for people that are really willing to spend a premium on a device.
Yes. So this doesn't work with all games. I mean, it mostly only works where one controller is necessary.
So Onward, Pavlov, all of those games, it's not going to work.
Not going to work.
But any game where you could pull it off with a single controller, and there are some games where you can.
Yeah.
But I mean, know that going into your purchase of this. All right, Louis, pros, cons, is this worth their price?
One of my biggest pros is the removable lithium-ion battery. The fact that it even has a lithium-ion means that this battery is going to last nearly forever. If you're playing such long gaming sessions, or you're using it in a professional environment where you're going really, really long times, you can swap out the battery for continuous play.
And you can buy more batteries from them for about $100 US.
Yes.
It's a magic number of some sort that's going on.
I do like the grenade launcher feel, and the trigger is well placed for it over on this side. It has haptics that are okay at best. Second biggest con, and probably even bigger, the price. I can't get past that. It is so much money.
But again, if you're going to a VR arcade, for example, you want to play with something that you can't play with at home, right? And
That's
the
the
entry
whole
price,
point of the arcades back in the day.
if you want to find something unique, well, I mean, maybe this is right up your alley.
Yep. Rob, what about you? Pros and cons?
For pros, this is built very well. It's actually much sturdier, and it's not nearly as plasticky as it looks either on the website or probably on the videos. This thing is actually pretty tough. The fact that it came with the camouflage tape, you know, I thought I would have to use it to try to make it look less like a toy. It actually doesn't look bad. And it feels good in your hands.
Yep.
The fact that it's got the scope, like, none of that does anything. The fact that it's got a couple lights in the front that do blink when you turn things on. Most of the lights do nothing. I like the fact that you can pull the battery out to recharge it, so you don't have to move the whole gun if you're doing a recharge.
Yep.
But it's got an awful lot of cons to me. For one, the fact that this controller, so the tracker is mounted on little rubber pads, right?
Yep.
Because you don't want it to break off if you hit something. The thing is, there were so many times that while we were testing this, my other hand hit it, and then one leg pops off, and now I'm spending 5 minutes taking off my headset and trying to fight to get those little rubber feet back in there. So crazy annoying. And if you're doing this in a VR arcade, that's a bad idea. It's just a bad idea altogether. It sucks that this is not a full range joystick. This needs to be a full range joystick. If it's too buggy that you can't release it as such, it's maybe not ready to go prime time, in my opinion. The haptics, like Louis said, it doesn't really, like, full force. It's so gentle, and I get that they're probably concerned they don't want people to feel uncomfortable with it, but it's not giving you a real feel of force feedback at all. Like, it's just a slight vibration up against your arm. So again, based on the premium price, I want this to negatively affect my aim. I want it to. For that price, I want realism added. All this is doing is giving me a slight buzz on my shoulder.
Yep.
Maybe there is a market for this, and if there is, it's obviously going to be VR arcades. And if you guys are watching and you have a VR arcade, if you have questions about it, let me know. I will honestly answer anything you have to know.
Yep.
Would I pay this much for this gun? Not a chance in hell.
Yep.
Zero chance. But I am probably not the demographic that this is aimed towards.
Yeah. Beswin has other VR guns where you can snap your existing controllers into them, and we've reviewed those before. And they're a lot less money, and I think they work better because you can actually reload in all your other games. It's not so limited, and it still feels good up against your shoulder, giving you that extra stability point when you're trying to snipe somebody down at 500 yards.
The only other thing I'm going to say is they have a second version of this where you can take an index controller, for example, and actually mount it to the top of the gun, so that will work as your tracker, which is a really good idea because it's something.
Yeah.
But right now, this is too niche market. I have a really hard time recommending this even to VR arcades. But again, you know, it is what it is, and that is our review. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. If you have questions about this or anything else of our reviews, let us know, and we will talk to you again really soon. See ya.